Hey there, it's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware here with Dell's Alienware 13-inch notebook with its super tight organic LED or OLED display. And yeah, it's pretty hot hardware. Dell's Alienware 13 hasn't changed much from a mechanical or aesthetic design perspective over the last couple of years, with the same understated but stylish brushed aluminum trimmed exterior and flat black high-density carbon fiber filled polycarbonate frame and wrist rest area. It's a relatively powerful 13.3-inch machine weighing in at just 4.5 pounds and targeted at gamers and power users on the go. It's not a thin and light machine, but the AW13 is a compact little beast and still very portable nonetheless. However, the Alienware team also revamped the notebook's internals with Intel's latest 6th generation Skylake Core series processors, and our AW13 is built on a Core i7-6500U dual-core chip that boosts to 3.1 GHz with integrated Intel HD graphics as well as discrete NVIDIA GeForce GTX 965M graphics with 4 GB of GDDR5 memory. The rest reads like a premium laptop loaded for bear. PCI Express NVMe SSD, Samsung PM951 no less, 8 GB of DDR3 1600 memory, a killer networks gigabit Ethernet and 802.11ac Wi-Fi with Bluetooth 4.1, 2 USB 3 ports, a mini display port, an HDMI 1.4 port, a Thunderbolt 3 enabled USB-C port, and of course Alienware's graphics amp port in case you want to jack up your deathmatch prowess with Alienware's graphics amplifier. And all of this high-octane goodness is backed up by a 52 watt-hour battery and an included 130 watt adapter. In the Alienware 13 box, you get the requisite literature pack, a quick start guide, and various propaganda, and the AC adapter, which is a modest brick, not too much larger than palm size for bigger palms, admittedly, and a rather lengthy run of cordage. Alienware offers a number of lower-cost configurations with SATA SSDs as well as spinning media, lower-power CPUs, lower-res displays, and the like, but as delivered, our machine retails for $1,949, which might seem a tinge on the pricey side. However, the star of the show isn't all that premium notebook silicon under the hood. It's the premium organic goodness that lights up the pixels on its QHD 2560 by 1440 native res display. OLED, or organic LED displays, offer amazing punch, saturation, and contrast that traditional IPS displays can't compete with. And Dell's Alienware 13 is the first OLED display-equipped notebook we've ever seen firsthand in our test labs. OLED displays are common in small smartphone-sized screens these days, but they're just now finally making their way to larger notebook panels. Specs on this beauty read like this: a 100,000 to 1 contrast ratio, a blazing fast 1 millisecond typical response time, 104% color gamut coverage, a 2560 by 1440 QHD native resolution, and yes, it's touch enabled if you dare muck around on a display this pretty. It's a glossy display, but the deep blacks of OLED have a knack of absorbing extraneous light and reflections while showcasing vibrant colors and high contrast pop. The camera here isn't doing it justice for sure, but it's safe to say that this is probably the nicest 13-inch notebook display we've ever laid eyes on. Side note, OLED displays do have an increased risk of screen burn if left on a single static image for too long, more so perhaps than IPS, though it's not huge. However, Dell does offer full warranty coverage against this, so consumers can rest easy. So to showcase things a little bit better, we decided to match the Alienware 13 against what could be thought of as its toughest competition, Dell's own 15-inch Infinity Edge display in the new XPS 15 notebook. The XPS 15 has an IPS display with great contrast and brightness in its own right, so we thought a side-by-side versus the new Alienware 13 was in order. As you can see, the 15-inch Infinity Edge display of the XPS 15 is no slouch, but it can't quite compete with the punch of Dell's Alienware 13 OLED display. Colors are more vibrant with better saturation and balance and deeper blacks. It's also slightly more crisp with fast-moving images and its 1 millisecond pixel response time. Pay close attention to the bottom of the girl's yellow dress here blowing in the breeze. There's an ever so slight bit of feathering on the XPS 15. However, the Alienware 13 is perfect. And again, side by side, you can see a definitive advantage for the OLED-infused Alienware 13 when it comes to viewing angles as well. The AW13 maintains its color better, washing out less, and providing better contrast overall. Again, here, the girl's red dress, you can see the same slight feathering with the XPS 15 display, while the Alienware 13 with OLED is absolutely flawless. Take a minute to rewind this portion of the clip if you like, and watch both displays individually. We'll also put the XPS 13 in the background, more in the second position down in the shot, so you can see what it looks like back there where it's slightly less in focus for the camera. As you can see, the Alienware 13's OLED display trumps the XPS 15's already fantastic image quality, hands down. Now, if we could only take Alienware's great OLED technology to Dell's Infinity Edge format, we'd be dancing. Taking a quick walk around the rest of the machine, on the rear edge there's Alienware's graphics amp port and a full-size HDMI port. If you're not familiar with Alienware's graphics amp, it's a PCI Express based breakout box that allows you to install your choice of full-size desktop graphics cards and connect it to the machine for seriously amped up gaming horsepower. On the right edge there's a Gigabit Ethernet port, a USB 3 port, and a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 3 port. On the left edge, there's a power port, a lock port, another USB 3 port, and microphone and headphone jacks. The keyboard area is spacious for this size machine with nice well-defined keycaps and a large touchpad, and it's all backlit, of course, with Alienware's usual Alien FX lighting system that lets you customize up to 8 different zones in a rainbow of colors for your own personal look and pimped-out color schemes. Typing and general use with the keyboard and trackpad are very satisfying. I personally tend to like slightly larger 14-inch notebook formats just because there's more room on the typing deck, but the Alienware 13 feels very comfortable with great key travel and tactile response. Overall, the machine is rather roomy for a 13-inch notebook, but it's still palmable, so to speak, compact and very portable, easily thrown into a backpack or briefcase for business or pleasure. In terms of performance, the machine feels very snappy and boots cold in about 10 seconds thanks to its speedy Samsung PM951 NVMe SSD. Gaming performance-wise, the combination of Alienware's configuration, which is powered by a higher clock speed Intel Skylake Core i7 dual-core CPU and NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 965M mobile GPU, make for a potent 1-2 punch, scoring almost 13K in 3D Mark Skydiver with snappy good frame rates and buttery smooth animations. Again, in fast-moving action, the lightning-fast 1 millisecond pixel response time of that OLED panel is notable and observable. Everything just looks great and is super sharp, including movie watching where the deep blacks and gobs of saturation that OLED offers really shine. And how about Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor at 1080p gaming with high image quality settings at just under 50 frames per second, or native res 2560 by 1440 at 35 frames per second. For a compact, well under 5-pound machine like this, not bad at all. The only thing we haven't been able to dig into enough yet is battery life. Certainly while gaming, that discrete NVIDIA GPU is going to draw heavily on its 52 watt-hour battery. But under light-duty use, when browsing the web, doing emails, or other everyday tasks, the machine kicks down to its Intel integrated graphics and coupled with its OLED display, which generally is more power efficient than IPS. We expect it to handle pretty well. Our initial HD video rundown tests are showing early numbers in the 5-hour range, in fact. So the Alienware 13 might not look a whole lot different on the surface, but this latest revamp with Intel's 6th generation Core series processors, a fast NVMe SSD, and its gorgeous premium OLED display option set it apart amongst gaming notebooks currently, and it's a definitive standout versus other lightweight laptops as well. It's a pricey configuration to be sure as delivered to us, but we feel pretty confident in awarding Dell's Alienware team an editor's choice for this one. The Alienware 13 with OLED is truly something unique and impressive for gamers and power users alike. But make sure you stop by HotHardware.com for our full review, where we'll have those complete battery life numbers, and toss in a thumbs up if you like this video, and hit subscribe if you'd like to have more Hot Hardware tech reviews and event coverage, and of course our 2.5 Geeks webcast. It's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware with the Alienware 13 with OLED. Thanks for stopping by.